Once upon a time in a cheerful little town, there was a bright and colorful school called Rainbow Ridge Elementary. The kids at Rainbow Ridge were always excited because the school was filled with fun activities, but the most exciting day of all was the Fun Day. Fun Day was a special day where students could play, learn new things, and most importantly, participate in the Grand Talent Contest. This year, Principal Joy made a grand announcement. The winner of this year's talent contest will win a magical trip to China. The students cheered and clapped, their faces lighting up with excitement. Everyone wanted to win the trip, including three best friends. Timmy, Lily, and Max. Timmy was a hilarious boy who could tell jokes that made everyone laugh until their tummies hurt. Lily was a graceful dancer who loved to twirl around like a fairy. Max was a science whiz who dreamed of becoming an astronaut. The three friends decided to support each other no matter what, and spent their days practicing their special talents. On Fun Day, the school was buzzing with energy. There were colorful balloons, streamers, and a big stage set up on the playground. Miss Jolly, the art teacher, had even created a beautiful backdrop that looked like a magical forest. Timmy went on stage first. He wore a funny hat and started telling jokes. "Why couldn't the bicycle stand up by itself?" he asked. "Because it was too tired." The audience burst into laughter, and Timmy bowed with a big grin. Next, it was Lily's turn. She wore a sparkling dress that shimmered in the sunlight. The music started, and she danced gracefully across the stage. She spun, jumped, and twirled, making the audience gasp with delight. Finally, it was Max's turn. He had built a small rocket that he planned to launch from the stage. He explained how rockets work and then pressed the launch button. The rocket zoomed up with a whoosh, and everyone clapped and cheered. After all the performances, Principal Joy took the stage. She smiled warmly and said, "All of you did an amazing job, but we can only have one winner." The students held their breath as she opened the envelope. And the winner is Lily. The crowd erupted in applause, and Timmy and Max gave Lily big hugs. Lily couldn't believe it. She was going to China. The next week, Lily went on her magical trip to China. She visited the Great Wall, explored the Forbidden City, and even made new friends. She shared her adventures with Timmy and Max through video calls, showing them pictures of pandas and delicious Chinese food. When Lily returned, she brought back gifts for everyone and shared exciting stories. The talent contest and Fun Day at Rainbow Ridge became legendary, and the three friends always remembered it as one of the happiest days of their lives. The end. Once upon a time in a quaint little village, there lived a jolly pig named Piggly. Piggly wasn't just any ordinary pig. He was quite the chef. His favorite food in the whole wide world was pizza. Every Friday, Piggly would have a grand pizza dinner and invite all his friends in the village. The day of the pizza party began with Piggly waking up bright and early. He trotted down to his garden to pick the freshest tomatoes, basil, and peppers. "Fresh ingredients make the best pizza," he giggled to himself. He then went to see his friend Betsy, the cow who kindly provided the best mozzarella cheese from her dairy. Betsy always laughed. "Oh, Piggly, you always know how to make everyone smile with your pizzas." Piggly then waddled to the village bakery where Bailey the bear made the fluffiest dough. Bailey was a master baker, and he always saved a special portion of dough for Piggly's pizza night. Piggly hopped home with a basket full of delightful ingredients, ready to start his pizza preparations. But first, he had to clean up his cozy little kitchen. Piggly sang songs while sweeping the floor, washing the dishes, and tidying up his cooking space. "A clean kitchen makes the tastiest meals," he hummed. Next, Piggly got down to business. He rolled out the dough into perfect circles, spreading a generous layer of tomato sauce on each. The sweet smell of homemade sauce filled the air. He carefully sprinkled Betsy's mozzarella cheese in a way that looked like a snowy mountain, and then artistically placed basil leaves and colorful peppers on top. Just then, his friends started arriving. There was Hoot the owl, who flew in with a basket of fresh mushrooms. "These will add a magical touch to your pizzas," Hoot said with a wink. Nibbles the rabbit bounced in with a bunch of crunchy carrots. "These are for a special veggie pizza," he exclaimed. As more friends arrived, so did more delicious toppings, each contributing to the pizza masterpieces. They worked together, laughing and sharing funny stories. Finally, it was time to bake them. Piggly's oven was big and old, but it baked the pizzas to perfection every time. Everyone gathered around the table, their eyes wide with excitement and mouths watering. When Piggly pulled out the first hot, bubbling pizza, everyone cheered. They shared the pizzas, savoring each bite. The best part was when Piggly taught everyone how to make their own mini pizzas. He showed them how to knead the dough, spread the sauce, and sprinkle cheese and toppings. Even little Tilly the turtle managed to make a delicious mini pizza all by herself. The evening ended with everyone feeling happy and full. Piggly's pizza dinners were more than just about food. They were about friendship, sharing, and fun. As they all left, Piggly's heart was warm, and so was his kitchen. And he knew next Friday they would do it all over again. The end. Once upon a time in a magical glen, surrounded by glittering pixie dust and enchanted flowers, there lived a kind and wise fairy queen named Lumi. She had long golden hair, emerald green wings, and a crown made of tiny twinkling stars. Lumi loved stories more than anything in the world, so she decided to hold a contest to find the best kids story writer in all the land. News of the Fairy Queen's contest spread far and wide. Writers of every kind, from teenage pixies to ancient gnomes, started preparing their best tales. They all gathered in Terrywood, the heart of the fairy kingdom, eager to share their stories. Queen Lumi was excited and nervous. She wanted to make sure every contestant had fun and learned something new. To help her judge, she called upon her three best friends. There was Sparkle, the witty and mischievous elf, Blossom, the gentle and poetic flower fairy, and Bramble, the wise and book-loving old gnome. The day of the contest arrived, and the fairy glen was buzzing with excitement. First up was Pippa, a young pixie with a love for adventure. She told a thrilling story about her journey across the Rainbow Bridge to save a lost unicorn. The audience gasped and cheered as she described her daring escapades. Next was Oliver, an ancient owl who had seen the world's wonders. He spun a tale about the friendship between the moon and the sun, teaching the value of harmony and understanding. His soothing voice and wise words melted everyone's hearts. The contest continued with many more stories, each unique and beautiful. There were tales of dragons and mermaids, brave knights and clever squirrels. Each storyteller brought their own magic to the glen, filling it with laughter, tears, and wonder. As the day came to an end, Queen Lumi and her friends faced the challenging task of choosing a winner. They huddled together, discussing and debating, making sure to weigh each story's creativity, message, and fun factor. Finally, Queen Lumi stood up with a radiant smile. "Every story was a treasure," she began, "and every writer a true artist. But the story that captured our hearts the most was Oliver's tale of the moon and the sun. It reminded us that understanding and harmony are the keys to a beautiful world." The crowd erupted in applause, and Oliver fluttered down from his perch, his eyes twinkling with joy. As a reward, Queen Lumi gave him a magical quill that could bring any story to life. She also invited all contestants to live in the Fairy Glen, where they could continue sharing their amazing stories every day. And so Terrywood became a haven for storytellers, a place where magic and creativity blossomed side by side. Queen Lumi's contest had not just found the best kids story writer, it had brought together a community of dreamers who filled the world with wonder and enchantment. Once upon a time in a peaceful little farm, there lived a very smart donkey named Donny and a wise goat named Gabby. Donny and Gabby were the best of friends. They loved to roam the fields, eat fresh grass, and share stories under the old oak tree. But one sunny morning, they overheard a conversation that worried them deeply. Farmer Joe, their kind caretaker, was talking to a banker. "I'm afraid I'll have to sell the farm and the animals," said Farmer Joe. "I need money to pay off my debts." Donny and Gabby knew they had to do something to save their beloved home. They spent the entire night thinking of a plan. Suddenly, Gabby's eyes sparkled with an idea. "Donny, what if we start a little market with our talents? You can carry goods and I can help with advice and planning. Together, we can earn enough money to help Farmer Joe." Donny nodded enthusiastically, and they got to work. The next morning, they set up a small stand near the farm's entrance. Donny, being strong and reliable, offered rides to children for a small fee. The kids laughed and enjoyed the rides. The parents were happy to pay. Gabby, on the other hand, offered wise advice to the villagers. People came to her with their problems and she offered solutions. Whether it was about farming, fixing things, or even personal matters, Gabby's wisdom was unmatched. Word spread quickly about the clever donkey and the wise goat. Soon, people from nearby villages started visiting the farm. Business was booming and they were collecting coins in a big jar. Every evening, they counted the money and hid it under a haystack to surprise Farmer Joe. One day, a traveling merchant visited the farm. He was amazed by Donny and Gabby's enterprise. "I run a big market in the city," said the merchant. "How would you like to join? We'll make even more money together." Donny and Gabby thought about it, but decided that their goal was to save the farm, not to leave it. "Thank you, but we'll stay here," they said politely. The merchant praised their loyalty and bought many of their goods, adding a big contribution to their jar. Finally, the day came when their jar was full. They excitedly went to Farmer Joe, pulling him to the haystack. "Look what we have for you," they brayed and bleated in unison, revealing the jar of coins. Farmer Joe was astonished. "You too did this for me?" he asked, tears of joy in his eyes. They nodded proudly. With the money, Farmer Joe was able to pay off his debts. He didn't have to sell the farm or the animals. The farm was saved, and Donny and Gabby became local heroes. To celebrate, Farmer Joe threw a big party, inviting all the villagers. Donny and Gabby were the guests of honor. There was music, dancing, and lots of delicious food. From that day on, the farm thrived. People continued to visit Donny for rides and Gabby for advice. They remained the best of friends, knowing they had done something truly special. And so, Donny and Gabby lived happily ever after on the farm they loved so much, surrounded by friends and the beauty of nature. Once upon a time, in a cozy little house on Maple Street, there lived a bright and curious girl named Lily. Lily was just 5 years old, and she loved stories more than anything else. One sunny afternoon, her mother came home with a present wrapped in shiny silver paper. "I have a special surprise for you, Lily," her mother said, handing her the gift. Lily's eyes sparkled with excitement as she tore off the wrapping paper to reveal a beautiful book titled, "The Magical Book of Space and Planets." The book glowed with a soft, rainbow-colored light. Inside the book, there were pictures of planets, stars, galaxies, and all sorts of amazing things. But this wasn't just any book. Lily's mother whispered a special secret to her. "Every night, this book will take you on a journey to a different planet, where you can learn and play with the most wonderful creatures." That night, Lily placed the book under her pillow and drifted off to sleep. Suddenly, she found herself floating in a spaceship surrounded by twinkling stars. The spaceship zoomed through space, and before she knew it, she landed on a planet called Glitteria. Glitteria was a sparkling world with trees made of crystal and rivers flowing with rainbow-colored water. Friendly creatures called sparklers, who looked like fluffy clouds covered in glitter, greeted her. They played games, sang songs, and showed Lily the most beautiful gemstones hidden in the caves. The next night, Lily's adventure took her to the planet Bouncitron. On Bouncitron, everything was bouncy. The ground was like a giant trampoline, and Lily had a blast jumping and bouncing with the inhabitants, who were round, bouncy balls with big, happy faces. They taught her how to do the highest jumps and flips, making Lily giggle non-stop. On another night, Lily visited the planet Floralis, a beautiful place where every flower could speak and sing. The flowers told her magical stories, and she learned all about their different colors and shapes. One flower even taught her how to dance the floral waltz, which became Lily's favorite dance. Each night brought a new adventure. On Zippy Dash, a planet where everyone moved super fast, Lily learned how to race like the wind. On Aquarian, an underwater world, she swam with talking fish and rode on the backs of friendly dolphins. On Nom Nom, a planet made entirely of candy and ice cream, Lily had the sweetest time eating delicious treats and playing with candy creatures. Every morning, Lily woke up with stories to tell her mom and lots of new friends in her heart. She learned so much about different places, creatures, and even about herself. The magic book made her dreams come true, and each night was a new exciting chapter. And so Lily's magical space adventures continued, filling her life with joy, wonder, and endless learning. And whenever she opened her magical book, she knew another delightful journey was just a page away.